Hi, welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. I'm your host, Brian Koval. Before we get started, make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. If you want to see me play your favorite deck or your spicy brew on the channel, I take donation deck lists. I'll do a deck tech, play a full Magic Online League, and help tune your list. If that sounds good, check out my contact info. It's in the video description below. Now let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back for another BoshNRoll video. It's Legacy today, it's a donation deck, and I am so freaking excited for this. So this is from subscriber Achija, and what he wanted to do was port a commander meme strategy into Legacy. And that strategy is called Vacation or Teferi's Vacation, where the combo is Teferi's Protection, which is until your next turn, your life total can't change, you gain protection from everything, all permanents you control phase out. So that's until your next turn. Chronotog, you can skip your next turn to give it +3/+3. So the joke here is you play Teferi's Protection, you float 2 mana, you cast Chronotog, then you start on each of your opponent's turns, you activate Chronotog to skip your next turn, then your stuff never comes back in and you can never take damage and you have protection from everything. So this is the original list that Achija sent me. And looking at the list, so here's the problem. The problem is obviously if you skip all your turns, your opponent's going to draw their whole deck and have access to whatever they want. So they can just sculpt a perfect 7-card hand and eventually kill your Chronotog, and then you're going to have to start taking turns again, and their hand's going to be perfect. Like, they could even spend a bunch of time building up onboard lethal, then they kill Chronotog, then they just kill you immediately. So Achija tried to manage that with Hope of Ghirapur. Hope of Ghirapur is sacrifice Hope of Ghirapur until your next turn. Target player who is dealt damage by Hope of Ghirapur can't cast non-creature spells. So if you connect with a Hope of Ghirapur and sacrifice it, your opponent can't cast non-creature spells until your next turn. If you don't get a next turn, your opponent can never cast non-creature spells again. So that just adds another layer to, so now I have to connect with Hope of Ghirapur before resolving Teferi's Protection while floating mana for Chronotog, and that also resolves. And then even if I do all that, I'm still dead to Skyclave Apparition. Like, that is a creature spell that can remove Chronotog. I'm sure there are others in the format that could do it. Like, there's some issues with the plan of giving your opponent infinite turns in Legacy. So what I did was there is another Skywalker, and that one is Lethal Vapors. So Lethal Vapors, 4 mana black enchantment. Whenever a creature comes into play, destroy it. And either player can pay 0 to destroy Lethal Vapors and skip their next turn. So if you activate Lethal Vapors, and in response activate Lethal Vapors, and in response activate Lethal Vapors, you can skip as many turns as you want, all in one shot. So you don't have to worry about your Chronotog surviving. You don't have to worry about anything. Like, it's done. It's on the stack. It's in the books. Like, your opponent is going to have to take that many turns in a row, and they're going to have to not lose somehow while it happens. So this shell was not built to support black. I tried to make it Esper. I tried to make it an Aether Vial deck, like Esper Vial with a combo finish, and all of that was tough. But then I realized there is another way to go. And I introduced to you Vacation Fit. So this is a Nick Fit deck, which, if you're not familiar with, Veteran Explorer is a 1-mana green 1/1. When it dies, each player may search their library for up to 2 basic land cards and put them onto the battlefield. So Veteran Explorer combos with Cabal Therapy or Phyrexian Tower to disrupt your opponent while gaining tons of mana. Then also Academy Rector. When Academy Rector dies, search a library for an enchantment, put it into play. Lethal Vapors is an enchantment. How nice. Sylvan Library is an enchantment. This deck gets to play 4 Veil of Summers and City of Solitude, all in the main, to shut down opponent interacting with your combo when you're ready to go for it. And I think this is just a more coherent shell for what we're trying to do, because Chronotog just doesn't work in Legacy, but Lethal Vapors does. And foregoing blue, going with the black disruption and the green, like you can't interact with me disruption, I think this is a better shell for the deck. This has a Living Wish package. There's a Rector in the sideboard, Xali Pride Mage, a Hope of Girapur, a Fairy Macabre. So there's like a little Living Wish package, Cavern of Souls, to try to push this through, get more copies of your combo pieces. And I think this is going to work, at least as well as any of this can. Like the Veteran Explorer package makes Lethal Vapors actually castable. Like if you have to hard cast the whole combo, it's 7 mana, and that's a lot to ask in Legacy. It's 8 if you want to protect it with Veil of Summer, so you need some engine to get up there. Or you need to make sure their hand is clear so you can do it over multiple turns. So the only thing that the main deck can't really deal with is an opponent who can shuffle their graveyard into their deck, and primarily via Emrakul the Aeon's Torn is the card in Legacy that can do that. So basically, your opponent will just draw until they have a perfect hand, get everything they want onto the board. They'll discard Emrakul every turn to hand size, shuffling their deck in until eventually you run out of turns you've skipped, and they have to do something. And then they get to untap and kill you with their army of Eldrazi. So that's the one thing I'm worried about. And you can't play Rest in Peace or Leyline of the Void or anything that would deal with Emrakul, because Teferi's Protection phases out all your permanents, so they wouldn't be in play when that's happening. So I have 2 Surgical Extractions and a Fairy Macabre to try to deal with that, but I also just have Overwhelming Splendor and Sandworm Convergence in the sideboard, and I would bring them in and just be a more normal Academy Rector deck and just try to deal with those creatures and beat the opponent fair and square. So that's the plan. Let's go do it. Honestly, if we can do this even once, it's going to be exciting, but I think we're going to do it more than that. So let's go. Let's go. Stop taking turns. All right, I'm on the play here on round 1. I have Veteran Explorer, but I don't have Black for Cabal Therapy. This is not a keeper. We can do better. It's very close, though. I'm going to keep this. I'll ship one of the protections. You should never need more than one. I'm just going to hold off on Hope of Girapur. I'm going to hide behind Veil of Summer. See what my opponent's up to for a turn. Then I'll play Hope with Veil back up. We do need to get this going. Unfortunately, there are no enablers here. Bloodstained Mire. So we're either dead to Reanimator, or this Veil of Summer is going to be pretty good. Delver. Alright. Alright, the whole combo's in hand. Now we gotta get to the mana. I think I want to cast Hope off of a Swamp. Because I still want to be able to fetch and cast Veil of Summer. This Hope is kind of interesting because this is only in combo decks, but our mana has not indicated any sort of combo deck, like the Windswept Teeth combo deck. So if I can get a Force of Will out of this, that's a good deal. If I do force this, I'm not sure if I should Veil or not, because I don't want it to get dazed, but I mean, hitting a Force of Will with Veil of Summer is the absolute dream. But the card I'm going to draw, Veil of Summer, is almost more important than Hope of... I don't know, we'll see. I'll start the fight, because Pernicious Deed is really good against Delver anyway. Yeah, if they go for some sort of interaction here, I'll Veil. Force Pitching Ponder. Let's hope they don't also have a Daze. Bummer. Alright. You got me. Well, let's set them back a land drop and hit them with a Hymn to Tarak. Got a Force Will out of the hand. Fatal Push is not something you want in this matchup. So if I just hit land drops from here, things are going to be good. Honestly, Veteran Explorer is the best draw, but that's always true. That's like saying Dark Ritual is the best draw in some sort of storm deck, like fucking obviously. All right. These ponders might take a while because it's very hard to know what you're pondering for against a crazy deck like this. It's the brewer's advantage, as they say. Found a veteran explorer. Please don't have a force of will. Forcing veteran explorer is one of the best feelings against these decks when you're on the blue side, because like that card is so important. And when you force of will veteran explorer, it's like you force of willed every card they're going to cast for the rest of the game. Because look at this hand and look at my mana. Unfortunately, Delver can ignore it. They have this Fatal Push in hand, but there's no way they're just going to fire it off. That would be crazy. So now Cabal Therapy, or Phyrexian Tower are my best draws. And there are 7 total copies of those 2 cards in the deck. And there's the 4 Therapies and 3 Towers. They chose not to shuffle this time. Oh, they're Death Shadow. Okay. Oh no, my secrets are out. So do they break up the combo, or do they take Pernicious Deed? Do they even know what the combo is? Do they see what I'm up to? And you gotta take Deed, right? If you're the 1-drop aggro deck. I kinda hope they leave me with the Deed, honestly. Like, this is a combo deck. I'm gonna have to assemble this eventually, but so what? Like, Pernicious Deed is just a good card against them. I could also just beat them to death with a Kasali Pride Mage if they get their life total low enough. Maybe I should have something, some like alternate thing, like Shifting Ceratops in the sideboard, just to wish against these blue decks. Alright, after a long deliberation, they took Teferi's Protection. I guess that makes sense if they can answer Pernicious Deed. Come on. Yeah. The nuts. So I get to name Fatal Push, get that for free, and then flash back and name something else. Okay, they don't have anything else. Alright, Fatal Push is gone. They have 2 deltas in hand. I'm gonna attack. And then I'm just gonna do this because it's time. Alright, so I'm gonna get a Plains and a Swamp here. That gives me the double black for Lethal Vapors. It lets me cast Pernicious Deed right now. Can't name Polluted Delta. And now I'm in a pretty sweet spot where I can end step Deed them, and then untap and jam Lethal Vapors, and then it's just like in play as Lethal Vapors. They have to skip a turn to kill it. I honestly don't know if that's better or worse than just like not playing it at all, but they are a discard deck. I think the strat is you just skip a turn immediately. Like, they know what I'm up to. They don't want to give me a draw step to find a protection. It was actually kind of lucky that their hand was just 2 lands during my Cabal Therapy turn. Because now they get to actually rebuild. They can put one of these in their deck, fetch with the other one, shuffle it away. Brainstorm is the best draw when your hand sucks. So we both had a fortuitous draw step there. So Gurmag Angler would be a huge beating, because that is a 7-drop. Alright, my thoughts. I don't think any shadow decks play Stifle, so I'm gonna not play around it. I'm gonna take this 3, then hope they don't have Garmag Angler and deed in their end step. I guess I don't even need to deed in their end step. Like, I could just wait until next turn. Like, this build doesn't have Lightning Bolt or anything, so like 3 is basically the same as 6, if the board is clear. I might want to spend my mana though, so I'm gonna go ahead and pop. Do it for 2 just in case. I don't know in case of what, but just in case. Generally speaking, just in case. They did not shuffle that Brainstorm. That's really suspicious. All right, so I think I wish for a Rector here. I'm not ready to commit to Kasali Pride Mage Beatdown yet. Second Brainstorm just drew that Polluted Delta again. It kind of sucks because I can't cast Rector right now, but it is definitely the right choice here. So she could get Thought Seized, but let's hope that doesn't happen. They've cast 2 of them already. It finally decided to shuffle. I'm going to assume this other Polluted Delta's gone. Yeah, now they are kind of frantically digging for Thoughtseize. If they can like Thoughtseize plus Death Shadow here, I'm in a really bad spot. If they only have Death Shadow and not Thoughtseize, it might be okay. If they Thoughtseize but don't have Death Shadow, that also sucks. Oh, Delver is a good one too. That I would almost prefer Shadow. Because this thing can fly. Oh god. Alright, so I have to rip Pernicious Deed off the top. Or there's one more in the deck. I'm going to fetch here just for the thinning, which generally isn't a big deal, but I need every edge here because I am drawing 2. So I need Cabal Therapy, Phyrexian Tower, or just the Pernicious Deed straight up. Come on, deck, help me out. That's not it. I mean, they kept their Ponder on top, but I guess there's a chance it bricked. If this Delver flips, I'm dead. Alright. Dead. Okay, so playing against Death Shadow. This is a deck that I might want this Rector package for, just as, like, they're a deck that is pretty likely to be able to pick apart my combo. So I might just want to Rector up. I can go one less Hope of Girapur. Actually, I think Hope of Girapur is better than Thoughtseize in this matchup. Thoughtseize can answer a threat, though. I don't know, it's close. Do I want to shave on the Living Wish and just put Rector in the deck? That cuts 2 mana off of delivering Rector. And just casting Rector here is a big deal. Collective Brutality. Oh, maybe I just do this full transformation into black-green removal spells. So if I cut Living Wish entirely, then I still need to cut some more cards. Maybe Brutality is not that important, but all this removal is good. And I want the Cavern. I believe all of the creatures in my deck are humans. Human. Hope of Girapur, not a human, is a Thopter. 2 of the 3 creatures in my deck are humans. So cutting 2 cards here. I have all the Rectors in now, so I can shave a Lethal Vapors. It's also not really plan A anymore. I feel like I'm cheating a little bit because I played this deck because it's the vacation deck, but I'm just turning into NICFit. But that is where I am. I'm leaving in some amount of it. I honestly think if this were the Pro Tour and I was somehow tricked into submitting this deck, I would be shaving on the Lethal Vapors combo entirely, like going way low on that. But that is not where we are. I guess I can probably cut one of these fetch lands. I think Windswept Heath I can cut, because I'm bringing in Cavern. Like, my land count is the same. Going up a land against Delver doesn't hurt. But I do like... I want to keep the rest of these cards for the sake of the deck. I would like to play first. This hand needs an Explorer. It has Therapy, though. Like, I could just, like, Therapy them, naming Delver or something, or naming Brainstorm. I don't really want a mulligan. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep. I don't really want to mulligan against the Delver deck. I'm gonna... I wish I had thought a little bit before I fetched, because I kind of want to get a dual land. Because if they spend time wastelanding me, I don't know, I guess that's the same. It's just time walk for both of us. So, yeah, I'll get the swamp. And I'm gonna name Delver. That's the scariest thing they can do on turn 1. Like, my hand isn't great, so I don't even really care if it gets thought seized. Oh wow, they have a lot of discard over there. They saw Veil of Summer in game 1 and still have all these discard spells. I've heard that from NICFit players that you should just name Brainstorm on turn 1 in the blind, but I'm more worried about turn 1 Delver than I am these other stuff. They have a Shadow. Let's see, they're at 16. They can fetch to 13. So they're 2 turns out from playing the Shadow. My Vapors. I've got the Vapors. Do they play a basic land? Can I trophy them and take them off him to Turok? Get an aggro here. If they have a basic swamp, I've just got real hard. Yeah, didn't think so. So now they're probably going to spend this turn pondering. And I can sneak in my Pernicious Deed. And I probably want to play the Tower to do that, as Tower does way more for the deck in play than Scrubland does. Scrubland being my white source is kind of a bummer. Just hope they don't have Daze. But if they Daze me, that means they're not hemming me. Force of Negation, pitching Brainstorm. Okay. So they can put Death Shadow into play, or they can get me Hellbent this turn. I think it's pretty easy choice to get me Hellbent. Oh, I could have played Hope of Garapur, Flashback, Cabal Therapy, naming Death Shadow. Oh, that was loose. I need to get used to playing with Cabal Therapy again. I haven't played with this card in a very long time, not since Deathrite Shaman was legal. Extracting my Vapors. Alright, I'm gonna have to win the alternate way, but that's fine. I planned for that. They're all in on Academy Rector now. If they... Yeah, him is definitely the right play. Like, if they put Death Shadow into play here, that's some greedy shit. Just get me Hellbent and then untap, play your giant creature. I have a lot of draws. I have 2 more trophies and an Abrupt Decay in the deck. I have another Deed in the deck, plus any Rector is a good hit. They use their Surgical on Noxious Vapors proactively for some reason, instead of waiting for a Rector to hit the graveyard. Rector has to die, and then it has a trigger that says when this dies, you may exile it. If you do get an enchantment, it's not like when it dies, get an enchantment. So there is a window to exile Rector before I get to search for an enchantment. I'd also like to point out right now that my opponent has 11 minutes left on their clock, and I have 19 and a half. So they're taking their sweet, sweet time. All right, they've decided to cast Death Shadow, and I'm going to edit out the long break, but they have 5 minutes and 51 seconds left on their clock. I said they have 11 minutes left, and then they did nothing for 6 minutes, and then cast Death Shadow. So here we are. Let's hope we can punish this. Okay, so I can Cabal Therapy that Hymn to Turok out of their hand. Hymn to Turok. The other card is Ponder. Okay. So I can also Cabal Therapy the Ponder out of their hand. So now the question is, do I think Ponder is better than, like, stripping the Ponder is better than having Hope of Girapur in play to block Death Shadow? I think I would rather just strip their hand. Okay, so instead of me being Hellbent and facing down Death Shadow, we're both Hellbent and I'm facing down Death Shadow. So I just need a removal spell before I'm dead. Okay, they said they had a real life interruption, so they weren't just farting around in the tank. They drew the Ponder right off the top. Who are they? Me? Just needed them to like draw water a grave there or something. So I can still win this if I just draw Abrupt Decay, if I draw a Rector. Rector is obviously the nuts. Did not need another Cabal Therapy. So now there's some trouble on a 2-turn clock. And they did not shuffle that Ponder. Okay, they just fetched an Underground Sea, so I'm not on a 2-turn clock. It's a 3-turn clock. Oh, Plague Engineer, that's pretty good. I guess they name Human. But that's fine. Academy Rector still wins this game. So do you name Human or do you name Thopter? Those are the only 2 types of creatures I have. Oh, I wonder if Veteran Explorer has a creature type that Rector doesn't. Human Soldier Scout, Human Cleric. Okay, so they could affect one or the other if they want to, but everything is just a human. Yep. Abrupt Decay, Assassin's Trophy, Academy Rector, Pernicious Deed, Veil of Summer. That's probably too late. Like, if they, yeah, like, I'm trying to think of how they could mess this up. Like, if they don't just go to attacks, like, if I had double green, there could be a world where, like, they cast Ponder before combat and I Veil of Summer into Abrupt Decay, but I don't have double green, so none of it matters. I can't get another card off of that. I love when I have to sit around for 25 minutes and lose anyway. All right. On to the next round. That was a tough match. All right, I'm on the draw in round 2 with a bit of a banger. I can like Thoughtseize into Veteran Explorer plus Hope. I'm just looking for a sack outlet and we get to go off. I can probably just Thoughtseize whatever they get with this Once Upon a Time. Oh god, it's a Nickfit mirror. I'm kind of excited about that, honestly, because they're not going to know that they're ramping me until it's too late. Oh, is it Nickfit? What is happening? I suspect Pernicious Deed will be good against this Doom Traveler deck. I also don't think this deck is going to have Wasteland in it. At least I fucking hope not, because I'm all in. Alright, this is definitely some sort of Nickfit thing. During your turn, opponents can't cast spells or activate abilities, so that's not symmetrical. I don't really care about Convergence, so they'll have 4 mana next turn. Let's see, Abolisher. That'll get swept up in the Pernicious Deed, the eventual Pernicious Deed. Yeah, I think I'll just take Spirit Guide. I guess I didn't need to do that because I have another Thoughtseize. I could have taken Abolisher this turn and Spirit Guide next turn. Yeah, so I think I'm going to Thoughtseize plus Veteran Explorer this turn. Right, Sandworm Convergence. So they're down to just lands over there. Here we are. You have the enablers, I have the payoff. And now we're in this blink fight. Yep. Let's get paid. If you got it, you got it. Alright, so I have white already, so I want more black and more green. I definitely want to get double green and double black locked down. Cast spells or activate abilities. Alright, so I would have to deed on my own turn if I'm going to deed. I could also just play this Rector so they can't attack me anymore. Alright, I'll summon Hope of Ghirapur and Academy Rector. And hope they don't play Swords and Plowshares. Or draw a Rector of their own. Oh, Evolutionary Leap is cool. That could definitely do stuff. Come on, Sack Outlet. Yes. Alright, does that even do anything? Because I only have half the combo. So I could get Sylvan Library. Let me see. So I can play Pernicious Deed. They can leap 2 of these creatures. I think I'm going to attack with Hope of Ghirapur and then see what happens. I can probably attack with both because they're not just going to block an Academy Rector. Yeah, I hope they actually take the trade. Although I guess it doesn't really matter because they can leap 2 things anyway. So it just depends on how many creatures they play. So play the deed. Play Phyrexian Tower. Hold priority. Sack this creature. In response to Rector, pop deed for 2. They leap both their creatures, and I hope they don't find their own Rector. They found one immediately. Great. And they probably have better enchantments to find than I do. Tithe Taker. and Rector. All right. So, I have to get Sylvan Library here, unfortunately. Yeah, their deck is just better at doing this Rector thing than mine is. Because I'm trying to put in a crazy combo and they're just trying to jam shit. So let's see what their enchantment is. Sandworm Convergence is gone. They could get Overwhelming Splendor, but my combo still beats that. Yep, all depends on what they go for here. Oh, Colossification is a card in their deck. Okay, so like they can attack, they can wait a turn, attack with Tithe Taker, sack Rector in combat to Colossify a creature. That's pretty cool. That seems like kind of a pipe dream, though. There's got to be some better enchantment that doesn't get blown out by creature removal in the Legacy format. Yeah, they got Splendor. Okay. So I can still win this turn. Like, I have enough mana to... Wait, does this... Can't activate abilities that aren't mana abilities or loyalty abilities. Okay. Creatures, enchanted player control. Alright, yeah. Sylvan Library still works. My instants still work. So I don't know any of the cards in their hand. I'm pretty sure that Classification was revealed off of Evo Leap, not anything else. Yeah, I mean, I'll just pay to keep all of it. I can block here. I can cast Veil of Summer. Guess I'll therapy them just in case. In case they have another one. Oh, they have Emrakul in their hand. Wow, what's the plan to get that into play? I'm so fascinated. That's actually horrible because that beats my infinite turns plan. Why is this card in your deck? Why is it even there? Oh my god. Did they know what I'm doing? Did they ghost me building the deck and just build a deck to beat it? Apparitioning my Sylvan Library is going to definitely lose me the game. Alright, yeah, there's nothing left to play here. I just have to board into a functional deck. What the fuck? That was so messed up. Okay, so surgical extractions are coming in. I have to deal with Emrakul, and I have to respect their Academy Rector. I want to be a Rector deck. Veil of Summer does less than it did before. I still think I want City. I mean, they are a discard deck, but like not the same way as like Death Shadow is. So I probably need these trophies to destroy their busted enchantments. Alright, I'm off City of Solitude. Maybe I want City of Solitude. I don't know. It's hard to say. I can tutor for Vapors. I can't tutor for Protection, so I'm going to keep the max protections in. I'm boarding in a lot of the stuff I want for Living Wish, so I actually think Living Wish is not good here. Which makes me wonder why it's in the deck, because I've boarded it out twice. So that's something to consider. This is the first draft. So I should bring in Macabre if I'm boarding out Living Wish, because I have to respect this Emrakul and the Rectors. Hope of Girapur. Oh, I actually think Hope is a lot worse than Veil of Summer. Because they are a discard deck. Though they did show me Tithe Taker and Grand Arbiter. So, all right, I'll do this. That seems fine. Let's go. I am not well versed in the Nick Fit mirror. I know that's not a keep. That's a keep. Put Convergence on the bottom. All right, we're both on 6 to start the game. It was nice of them to come with me. Gonna get Bayou. You have Sterling Grove and Pattern of Rebirth. Okay, that's what Emrakul is for. Evo Leap, Sterling Grove, Recruiter of the Guard. I think Leap is the scariest card here. Though their deck is clearly more coherent than mine. Hope. So they can Sterling Grove this turn, off Horizon Canopy. Oh, they have Abolisher. All right, that's fine. City of Solitude. All right, we can both play this game. Nobody wants any of this. They are winning the damage race, unfortunately. Or they found a land too. So spells and abilities. This includes fetch lands, it includes Horizon Canopy, it includes Pernicious Deed. So gotta be careful with that. Oh wow, Starved Rusalka. Alright, I see where this is going. Do I just run out Vapors? Or does that help them? Like, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Even if I top deck, I'm still a turn away. So I'm actually gonna play Vapors. And if they have Rector to just jam into play, good for them. They have Rector. Oh, this is delightful. Alright, so there's Splendor. If I draw Protection, I can still do the combo. Alright, Therapy, not bad. So I'm gonna name Pattern. So they have 2 cards, one of them Sterling Grove. I'm gonna attack and then name Sterling Grove. Alright, so they have Starved Rusalka in their hand. that they have to skip a turn if they want to play. They draw another Rector. Oh, they drew another Rebirth. All right, come on, protection. Trophy. So I can trophy Splendor, or I can trophy Pattern. I think I'm more worried about Pattern. Though if Emrakul is in play, right onto the battlefield, whenever a creature enters the battlefield, destroy it. So they can skip their next turn. I think I just want to destroy Pattern. Enchanted creature dies. Yep. All right. Confirmed. Just want to make sure I'm not doing the wrong thing. It's not like when Pattern dies. Just please. I need the rebirth before they kill my vapors. Cavern. All right, that's allowed. Protection. Damn it. I mean, that's fine. That does stuff. No, it doesn't. I forgot about Splendor. Oh, this is a delight. All right, my goal to combo off at least once is still alive. Come on, Teferi's Protection off the top. They drew 2 Rectors off the top after my Vapors to my 0. Just want to point that out. Convergence. All right, that doesn't matter if I draw Protection. Get out of here, worm. Teferi's Protection. Ooh. That actually does something. So, green, black, colorless. Pernicious Deed. This keeps me alive. Keep this one. That is a legendary land. Oh, does this... Oh, yep, nope. Splendor still gets me there. Oh, Splendor, I can't activate Lethal Vapors anyway. Enchanted player can't activate abilities. Oh, jeez. I played that whole game for no reason. Oh, my God. All right. I hope you're enjoying this as much as I am. On to the next one. All right, I'm on the draw in round 3. Maybe I'll be able to combo. This is my first Veteran Explorer hand, so I'm definitely going to keep it. Island. That's bad because it means Delver is the thing they could do. I have to respect Daze, I have to respect Wasteland and Stifle. I'm going to get Forest and play Hope of Girapur. Like, I suspect this will draw out a Daze if they have it. I'd love to get a Force of Will off this. They could also just Lightning Bolt it. Or they can flip Delver and not attack. These are all things that they're allowed to do. Oh, revealing Volcanic Island. Just letting me know. I will trade off with this Delver so fast if they attack. If they attack, it will show me that their hand is full of counterspells. Easy, 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 easy block. What they don't know is that my hand sucks, and I needed that reprieve. Alright, I have more than one of these, so now if they want to Force of Will it, they can. Hardcast Daze would kinda suck, because that's such an easy, clean answer. Alright, now they can't Hardcast Daze. This will at least set them back a land if they want to fight over it. Blah. Alright, I'm gonna assume they shuffled away that Volcanic Island. Yeah, like a land last turn, would have played around Days, then we'd have Veteran Explorer in play. Maybe representing Veil of Summer. It's painful stuff here. Don't have another Days, please. Alright, so maybe don't flip. Maybe don't flip. Flipped revealing Days. I love saying Days when I'm stuck on one land. My favorite, absolute favorite. So Phyrexian Tower is probably the best draw in my deck right now. I don't really care about like a Tarmogoyf or anything because like that sort of like that one. Hootie has Trample, which is a little better than Tarmogoyf, but I'm still pretty stoked about this Veteran Explorer being able to die. Alright, got another one. And I can hold up Veil of Summer. Can't run Sylvan Library into this Daze, unfortunately. Oh, they can Wasteland me, and then when I fetch, they can Daze. I just didn't play around the oldest trick in the book. Oh good, they didn't do it. That's a relief. Block so fast if they attack with these Hooties. I think there's a strong argument to not attack with Hooting Mandrills, because I'm clearly mana screwed right now. At least we're playing around Wasteland. Can't waste someone who has no lands. Yep, they made the smart decision to not attack. Phyrexian Tower. We're getting closer, or something. I don't know. All right. I might as well attack if they're not going to. So I might have to use Veil of Summer just to cycle, like if they cast like Ponder or something this turn. Though this Veil is going to be very important to making sure my combo happens. Oh, okay. So if they try to Elk one of my Explorers, I can Veil. I'm going to fetch and then Veil. Alright, so you and permanent you control and Hexproof from blue and black. Alright, so fetch. I'm going to get a Plains. And then cast Veil of Summer. They played a blue card, so I get to cantrip, and that stops it from being an Elk. Played around Days. If they have Force, I mean, okay. They have Force, I go to 5. Basically dead. Alright, it worked. Even drew a land, so I can play Sylvan Library around Days this coming turn. The third Veteran Explorer, huh? Wish I had more life to work with. I'm probably going to take 6 from this attack. Like, leaving back a second Explorer means even if they Elk one of them, then I can trade off. Alright, Force of Negation pitching Days. Okay, so we got through a Force. Now if they want to Elk me and attack me, I'll get some lands out of the deal. I guess they can elk one of these, attack with Hooting Mandrills, and put all 4 damage on the elk, so I don't even get a Venator Explorer trigger. They're just not even messing with it. They must have Lightning Bolt. So I'll double block. 5, 6, 7, 8. That makes Bolt only 8 damage. If they kill both the Explorers, which they have to if they want to trample onto me. Yes. Black. Black. We are very close to comboing here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have enough mana. If their hand doesn't have Daze or Force Blue card, we actually did it here. All right, moment of truth. So I'm going to pass the turn and do this in their upkeep, I think. Lightning Bolt. Okay, so now their last card in hand has to be Daze or Spell Pierce. They can't hardcast a Force, so let's see if we can do it. Teferi's Protection, hold priority. 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 60. Okay, I'll start passing priority now. Do you have Daze, or are you dead? Now we just F6 forever? Wow, these phased out lands hurt my brain. I think they are about to figure out what's going on. We did it! Unless they have Emrakul for some reason, this game is over. This is so stupid. I should just concede, because eventually they'll have to go to discard and it'll eat up more of the clock than it will for me. Opponent asked in the chat, what is the point of this? And I mean, unless they have a way to shuffle their stuff, they're gonna eat up more clock than me. This is so stupid to execute on Magic Online. What is the point of this? Fair question. I activated it 60 times, fella, friend, pal. They were like, you didn't do it 40 times. I did it 60. And it's hard to keep track of them once, like, the Magic Online UI can't, like, show them all, and I'm not going to stop to count them. So assuming my clicks actually clicked, I did it 60 times. I guess they're just checking that I actually clicked it 60 times. Fair enough. Achija, we did it. Got one in. And they conceded with 9 cards left in their deck. Didn't want to commit to the final 9 cards. Interesting. It is interesting, you're right. That was so sweet. Okay, so all right, I'm happy. We can pack the league up. It's over. This video is over. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Not really. I will keep playing. Let's just do it more times is the goal now. So I think I feel like this should just be in the main deck too, like these backup plans. Hope of Girapur, very good in this matchup. Just any more Veil or City effects is good in this matchup. Again, pretty sure Living Wish sucks. Bring in the Cavern. Bring in the Rector. Yeah, I do want the removal. I'll cut a Vapors. I might not need all the removal. Actually, I might not want Thoughtseize as much because I'm up to 4 Hope, 4 Veil, and City. Like, the Cabal Therapy is mostly to sack Veteran Explorer, the rest is gravy. Gotta cut 2 more cards. I can cut a land. Like just like the Death Shadow matchup, I don't mind having more lands than normal against a Delver deck. But at the same time, I do have to make room somewhere, and I think that's a fair place to do it. Maybe all 4 Hopes is a lot, though I think they are very good. Just if I'm pivoting onto this, fair plan anyway. All right, let's do it. This has a Veteran Explorer and a removal spell, but it already it has the Splendor in hand, which is already a mulligan, so I'm just gonna mulligan. All right, this is great. I think I want to send. It's either Veil or Hope. I think it's Veil because I don't have double green to like protect anything with the Veil. I can at least play the Hope on turn 1. All right, I'll ship Veil to the bottom. So Seven Libraries is real nice. So I'm gonna play Hope of Girapur off of my forest. See if they want to fight over this. If they are fighting over this, I hope it's with a counterspell and not with a lightning bolt, because lightning bolt is squeaky clean in a matchup where it does very little else. But counterspells are great. Get them out of the hand. All right, let's see if we got the Dreadhorde Arcanist here. Okay, so I'm gonna attack with Hope of Girapur, and then use its ability to make sure that my Veteran Explorer and everything happens. You aren't casting spells this turn. Veteran Explorer. Sack a creature for black. I choose this one. Yes, please. So I have a plains. I want a swamp and a forest. Or no, I want forest, because then I can Abrupt Decay and cast Sylvan Library. Forest. Abrupt Decay, Library. Blammo. Alright, they don't have Wasteland, that's good. That makes Veteran Explorer a whole lot better. We're doing it. Oh, hello. I think I would like to pay all of it. I'm just gonna play Explorer and pass. If they want to force this, that's a deal. That clears the way for Rector. I want to get another activation out of library. Like, I'm not under any pressure. I have trophy to protect myself. Like, there's no rush here. Extracting Veteran Explorer. Well, that doesn't stop the one that's on the stack. So have a good look at my hand, get rid of the rest of them, and then this one will come into play. I have to assume their hand is full of counter magic because they didn't play a threat last turn. Leaving Tower in play with Explorer is also a shuffle for Sylvan Library if I don't want to take 8 again. I would really like to just find a Veil of Summer next turn off this library and go off. I don't think I can go all the way off, but I can set up going off. Another Arcanist, that's fine. So I could activate this right now and trophy in the end step, see if they want to fight over that. Though I do think I would rather. Oh, found the Veil of Summer. Don't need a second protection. And I'll keep this. So now how does all of this work? I only have one sacrifice outlet, so I could go for... Maybe I'll just trophy the Dreadhorde Arcanist and hold up Veil of Summer for next turn. Get Bayou. If their hand is double force here, they're going to get me. But if they force 1 and I Veil... Like, if they force... Alright, they just didn't even force. That's a deal. Alright, so that's gone. I would like to put Rector into play, I think. I should have attacked first. Missed the damage. Luckily, damage is not my plan. So Swamp. Swamp. They still don't have any basics. That's fine. They can't Force of Negation this one. They have to have double Force of Will. And they can also bolt her. I guess if I got Plains, I could cast Protection, but I don't know why I would cast Protection unless they just go like triple bolt. Alright, all in. The Surgical Extraction gets me, but I just drew Cabal Therapy, so I can just name Surgical Extraction. Alright, put on top, and would it hurt me to pay for life here? They don't have red mana open. Yeah, I'll just keep this one. I'm at 3. I'm gonna name Force of Will first. Or no, I'm gonna name Surgical first. Oh, it's just triple days. Okay. So therapy. Name days. See you later. Then I have to... Okay, this is an instant, so this doesn't really matter. I can just do this how I want. Yes, and get Vapors, and then cast Protection. And off we go. We did it twice. All right, on the board. On the play for round 4. This hand is a mulligan. It just needs too much to make it happen. All right, we got Explorer, 2 lands, Veil. I'll keep this in bottom 1 of the Veils. We got half the combo here. First time we've really seen Living Wish show up. I'm going to get Basic and cast Veteran Explorer. It's nice that the Scrubland makes white and black. Uh-oh, they're thinking about forcing my Explorer. Oh, it didn't happen. So now the next hurdle to dodge is Swords to Plowshares. Alright, they didn't have Plow. We're in luck. I'm going to play the Savannah because I don't want to hang my only black source out there in case they are a Wasteland deck. And I'm just going to wait on the Living Wish till I can cast it next turn with Veil backup. And if they are some sort of combo deck, I'd rather just have Veil available. Available. And Underground Sea. Everything that Underground Sea casts can get Veil of Summered, so I like that. So this has to be a combo deck. It might be Doomsday. It could be the Grixis Breach deck that Maxtortion top-8'd the showcase with. There aren't many fair decks that have Underground Sea in them anymore. Yeah, this looks like Doomsday to me. Well, the combo is here. Now I gotta figure out what I'm gonna wish for. So I could wish for... I don't have a Phyrexian Tower in the sideboard. Maybe I should. So I think I want to wish for Hope of Giriper. I could just get the Cavern. I think it's Hope that I want to wish for. So Doomsday does play Daze in some quantity. So if they Force of Will this, it's not necessarily an easy slam to Veil it, but I am going to Veil it. But hopefully they force Pitch Daze. And I hope we don't just win, or we don't just lose next turn. All right, cool. It resolved. So I had decided on Hope, but I do want to play around. I do want to hit my land drops, and I do want to play around Daze if possible. I guess it's not really possible, because they're either going to Daze this Hope of Giripo, or they're not going to Daze again. I don't think I need to leave up Veil of Summer on their turn if it is Doomsday. If it's Ad Nauseam, I lose, because I didn't Veil. Alright, let's see what they got. So a Phyrexian Tower is 7 mana. Ooh, Forcing Hope. Force Pitching Force, cool. Alright, so I wasn't crazy that pause on turn 1 about Veteran Explorer. They were thinking about a Force of Will. And the fact they forced there means that they don't have Daze. Or at least they didn't have Daze. They just drew a spell because they didn't play a land. So, reasonably confident that's a spell. Looking for a sack outlet. Doomsday is particularly tricky because they can win through the combo. Teferi's protection says your life total can't change and you have protection from everything. It does not say your opponent can't win the game. And Thassa's Oracle dodges that. So we have somehow managed to get paired against an Emrakul deck and a deck that can win without attacking you or targeting you in any way. Maybe I just run out the Vapors and see what happens, or I could just hold a fail. I think Vapors is better for me than it is for them. Like it's a sack outlet. I'm running this straight into Daze. They've drawn 2 spells that I have to assume are counter spells because they didn't play them on their turn, unless their hand is just like 4 Doomsday and no black sources. But if they counter this, that's fine because I just identified that the combo doesn't even work against them. So let's go. Yeah, slurping a Force of Will out of their deck here isn't even the worst. What does Teferi's protection do for me? Close to nothing. Jeez. You've gotten some unfortunate pairings. Like this deck is memey as possible, but we've also things have not gone right pairing wise. This Force of Will confirms it's not ad nauseum, by the way. Like I'm almost certain this is Doomsday at this point. They're tanking so hard on this. Like, does this matter? What does this do? Who does this affect? Who does this help? Who does this hurt? Is it worth forcing? All right, they determined it's not. They could also just like snap off the activation right now, skip the turn. I just attack 2 more times with my Veteran Explorer. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So that was basically a 4-mana shock. You love to see it. These explorers have been exploring though. At this point, I kind of don't want them to die because my opponent is clearly mana screwed. But now I can Veil of Summer and Teferi's protection. So I'm like pretty protected from stuff happening to me. Brainstorm has got to be among the best cards they could draw right now. So this is gonna fix their hand, or they'll just die. One or the other. Those are the only 2 options. Oh, I could Pithing Needle Lethal Vapors and then play Lethal Vapors, and then creatures are all just gonna die when they come into play. That could be a funny line for like a different build of this deck. Just like Sorceress, Spyglass, name Lethal Vapors against Death and Taxes, and play Lethal Vapors. That's exciting. I'm not excited about these spells they've cast, these Brainstorms. Fatal Push. Ooh. They wouldn't do that if they didn't want the... I'm gonna Veil this. Like, we're on this beatdown plan. Veil of Summer is kind of fun. If they force Veil, I don't even care. Alright, I am gonna fetch. I've drawn enough lands. Oh, this one doesn't have hexproof. Ooh. So this one can get Kasali Pride Mage. This one can get Rector. Maybe it's better to get Kasali Pride Mage. So if they Doomsday, they go to 4. So, because Pride Mage puts lethal on board. Hell yeah, Kasali Pride Mage. Rector doesn't even do anything. Because all Rector can get is the lethal vapors in the main deck. I guess it can get Sylvan Library also, or City of Solitude. Ooh, Ethereal Forager. My goodness. This has a lot of spells under it. Maybe they are just some green-black deck. Or maybe this is the new Doomsday tech. Or either way, I'm into it. So if I attack with Pride Mage, they trade off. I like that. This is when it attacks, right? Yeah, okay. So I don't care if they block with it. I'm going to trade off, lose all those spells, or just go to 5. Either one is cool with me. Though they might just have a Fatal Push here. Alright, take your beats. Somehow I didn't have any white mana in those lands. Is this worth a Force of Will? At what point will you respect my cards? Return an instant or sorcery. So they do get to choose. Alright, that one was worth a Force, pitching Brazen Borrower. Alright, maybe this is not Doomsday. Maybe this is just some blue-black fucking deck. So they have to attack to get anything out of this, and they didn't block, so they obviously are planning to attack. So do they get the Brainstorm or Ponder, try to fix their hand, or do they take the Fatal Push to try to lower the clock? This is kind of exciting. They took the Fatal Push, okay. So I can attack for 2 instead of 3 this turn. Like, I'm not going to make the Exalted attack. I'm going to crack with everything. Come on, Veil of Summer. Alright, yeah, just attack with everything. Yep. You go to 2. Oh, there's more. This is Snapcaster Mage. Oh, that would be brutal. Oh, okay. Petty Theft. That's fine. I could Teferi's Protection to stop that, but now that I know that they're a deck that's actually trying to win through combat, Teferi's Protection is a lot more exciting than I thought it was. The hope. Alright, also them not being Doomsday means that the combo functions again. This will tell me a lot, whether they take the Force of Will or if they take a cantrip. Like, if their hand is good and they just need to make sure I don't pull back ahead, they're going to take Force, but if their hand needs help, they'll take one of the cantrips. Yeah, they took the Brainstorm, okay. So that means their hand is pretty bad. Like, if their hand had some good cards, but they're not all good, they would take Ponder. If their hand needs just to be totally fixed, Brainstorm is the card you want. They are dead on board currently. Brazen Borrower can block Hope of Girapur, which will put them to 1. If they fetch with this Brainstorm, they'll be at 2, so that doesn't save them. This is exciting. I am excited. If they have a removal spell and fire it off on my turn, I will Teferi's Protection and then phase back in and bash for lethal. But we are getting close here to just winning the race. Uh-oh, not another whale. This looks like another whale. Yep. Forager deck. They get all these same cards back again. That's so cool. I'm glad someone's doing something with Ethereal Forager. Phyrexian Tower. You're a little late to the party, friend. I can still put my opponent to 1. This will be interesting if they want the mana and the shuffle, because they didn't shuffle their brainstorm. Okay. But that lets me hit with Hope of Ghirapur. No, I'm not even sure what's better here. I mean, they clearly made the choice that's better for them. That's how this works. So I want to get. I have so much mana. I'll get a swamp and a forest, I guess. So they can't attack with everything next turn. Unless they find more things. I'm going to sandbag this tower. I wish my deck had Seal of Fire in it. Oh yeah, they do get to do that, don't they? Maybe they'll just push all in with an attack and I get to Teferi's protection. Oh, they can't all in though unless they're planning on having a bunch of removal spells. Oh, they have Fatal Push right there. Alright, so which whale is first? This whale is first. Please don't take Force of Will. I don't think I can win this game if I protection before they know what they need to play around. This one will almost certainly take Force of Will. Unless they think they have to ponder. I don't know, like you can't pitch the Force. Okay, they did take Force. Bummer. That is the right play. But they are also at 1. So they need to produce another blocker or remove both of my creatures through Teferi's protection. So if they force here, they can't pitch because they're at 1, and if they hardcast it, then they're out of mana. Oh, this is tight. This is so tight. Ooh, goodbye. Okay. The phased out image on Magic Online seriously hurts my brain. Alright, we're back. Can you deal with 2 attackers right now? Uh-oh. If they Brazen Borrow the Veteran Explorer and then cast Brazen Borrower to block Hope of Ghirapur, that does it? Oh, they did it backwards. Okay. Did they punt that, or do they know something that I don't? Let's find out. It's now or never. Show me the removal spell. Or just cast Brazen Borrower. Hull Breacher. Shit. Alright. Okay, so they're not Doomsday. That's good news, at least. But the bad news is we're dead. Boo, that was so close. Much closer than it deserved to be. Okay, so they're some sort of Hull Breacher whale deck. I think I want my Thoughtseize in. This might be a matchup where I want to lean into the combo. Like, taking some pressure off. Like, I don't really draw. Oh, Sylvan Library draws extra cards. So, Hull Breacher does do one bad thing against me. Hope of Girapur is good. I actually like the Living Wish package against this deck. I want a little more beef on my Rectors. I just said I like the Living Wish package, but I think I lied. I like Veil of Summer. Definitely like Veil of Summer against this deck. Actually, with 4 Veils and 6 discard spells in the main, I don't even think I care about Thoughtseize. And if that's true, then why is it even in the sideboard? So that's a deck building thing that I'm gonna have to figure out. Like, I want a bigger beef stick to bash with Living Wish. Like, if I had a Shifting Ceratops in the sideboard, I would have won that game pretty easily. But as it stands, like Thoughtseize should just be some bigger beef monster. I should also have a backup plan in the main, like just the Sandworm Convergence probably is enough to complement the Rector package if I can't combo off entirely. So Pernicious Deed, probably not that good. They have a lot of bigger things and things with flash. Am I just boarding out Living Wish again? I think I am. Damn it. I keep trying to like that card. All right, the Living Wish package isn't good either. I should just build this like as a combo deck. And I want Cavern in the main if I'm not playing the Living Wishes. All right, this is good enough. All right, this hand tears them apart, so I'm going to keep it. I get to Thoughtseize, and then I can Therapy while knowing their hand and cast Hope of Girapur on turn 2. I'm going to need to find like some white and green mana, obviously, but this is pretty good. I have Rector and a sack outlet. Not throwing it back. Show me. Snuff out Brainstorm Brazen Borrower and 2 Wastelands. Oh shit. Well, those Wastelands are bad news. I wish I could name Wasteland with Cabal Therapy. Basic land? Shit. Alright, well. I'll cast the Therapy and get the Brazen Borrower. And get rid of that. Oh, did they draw a second one? That's so fucked up. Wow. So they have 4 cards in their hand. Hope of Girapur might win this game on its own. Alright, there's the Wasteland. No surprise there. Now this hand needs a lot of help. They can't even cast the Snuff out. That's pretty funny. I could also just take it. But it's time for... Oh shit, this is a legend. Alright. Who knew? Never cast 2 of those before. I should have cast Cabal Therapy for the Snuff out if I had a brain and realized that was a legend. A basic forest would be great. So, destroy target non-black creature. They can get a swamp at this point. I guess I'll just force the action. If they snuff out in response, I'll just name something else. Alright, so now their hand is Force of Will and some lands. This is so dumb. Alright, now they can cast stuff like Hull Breacher and whatever. Oh, eliminated. I wish I had another one in my hand. Alright, we're starting to figure this out. Not fetching because I want lands in my deck still. The opposite of thinning time. Come on now! So all those times where you watch my channel and I just say like, I need to draw my one of Night of Autumn or whatever, and then I do, remember this. Is this just Brazen Borrower beats? Sure. I can answer that eventually, but I mean, there's not a huge rush. All right, we're doing it. We're doing it. Yeah, like Sandworm Convergence shuts down their basically entire deck. I guess they could Brazen Borrower to bounce it. They have another one? My god. All right. So we know their hand is land blue card. All right. So I think playing out that land means they didn't draw a blue card. I'm actually going to Assassin's Trophy right now and see if they want to fight over it and try to clear the way for my Academy Rector next turn when I rip the land off the top. Oh wait, but if Assassin's Trophy resolves, they're guaranteed to have force. But I guess this is a tough clock anyway. Hopefully they just force, and then I draw a land and win. Nope. Alright, couldn't fool them. You know what would be awesome on this board? A 1/1 flying creature. Cavern of Souls. Alright, fine. I'm just gonna like Teferi's Protection in combat this turn. Hopefully they cast a discard spell, and I can Protection in response. Yeah, I'm just putting spells on the stack at this point. Like, if this game goes how I want it to, I'm gonna draw a land, Rector gets countered, and then the next Rector resolves and I win. Alright, so we know about the Force of Will. We gotta bait it out. Cabal Therapy sitting in the graveyard, so this is instantly the whammer if it hits. So they're down to one card in hand. Yeah, it sucks that they have at least... Oh no, all 4 Brazen Borrowers are accounted for. They drew 2, and... we discarded 2 with the Cabal Therapy, and then they have 2 in play, or 1 in play, 1 in the graveyard. So the Sandworm Convergence should do what we need it to, if we can get it into play in time. They topped. Damn it. That's bad. Or is this a whale? Alright, so if this is a whale, I should be able to win the game, unless they have daze. Because they have 1 card in hand, they can't force. Alright, now I can play around daze. Beautiful. Alright, so it's not a counterspell that they have. Get Sandworm Convergence. They would have cast Ponder. It's probably just a land. I'll name Brainstorm just in case. I mean, I feel like that's one of the best cards they could have left. All right, yeah, probably a land. Accurate. Creatures with flying can't attack me, and I have a 5. I make a 5/5 every end step. So they have to be able to bounce this card. And they've used all 4 of their Brazen Borrowers. So it's not that they can't damage me, they can't even attack. So this doesn't even get the trigger. But I'm dead almost on this spot. If they it's kind of messed up that like I can play the second Rector and flashback Therapy again and get Overwhelming Splendor, but I'm not even sure if that's better or worse for me. I guess I'll offer this trade first, see if what they want to do about it. They have Eliminate. Oh. Oh, Ride or Die. Okay. I've met a swift end. Their hand is still this island, so Therapy, you pop this. Drawing 3 Rectors with 3 sack outlets is pretty nice. I could get the... I can't get Vapors. That's so funny. Yeah, Vapors just kills my Sandworms as they arrive. I could get Library. Splendor actually lets their creatures attack. But I'm not sure if that matters. I'm going to have a bunch of 5/5s. Yeah, I'll just get Splendor. Oh, click the aura, then click the player. Okay, all right. And we know their hand is Snow Island. All right, they conceded. The actual normal Rector plan worked. We did it. Okay. The putting my Hope of Garroper in the graveyard for no reason didn't end up hurting me too badly. So, Collective Brutality does answer Hull Breacher and Brazen Borrower, at least in play, while also potentially messing with their hand, but I'm not sure this card should be in the deck either. This was in the Nick Fit frame that I based my my build on, and when in this entire league so far in 4 matches have we had extra cards we wanted to discard? Like this uses every drop of resources, so I'm not gonna bring in Collective Brutality because it's not good if you only use one mode, and I want to use more than one mode. I also want to combo this opponent so badly. This Protection Vapors against their blue-black control deck. Oh, it feels nice. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna change anything. Like the one change I could make is the Thoughtseize over one of the Hopes. And maybe on the draw that is better. Alright, yeah, I'll do that. Because on the draw, having my 1 mana spell answer all of their 3 mana hits is pretty nice. Oh wow, this is the hand. I wish this was a basic swamp instead of a Phyrexian Tower, but you can't have it all. They have to be willing to Force of Will Veteran Explorer to really fuck up this hand. Oh, now it doesn't even matter. They have to have Stifle to fuck up this hand. We haven't seen Stifle yet, but I mean, it could be in this deck. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no! Alright. The game 3 surprise Stifle. Haven't seen one of those yet. There's probably one in the list. I don't know. Is that something I'm supposed to play around here in the third game when I haven't seen one and my hand just goes off on turn 2? Hard to say. But let's just draw another forest and not worry about it. They did not shuffle. Forest? Forest? Oh, even better. Cavern on human, thank you very much. How about that? This gets wastelanded, but that doesn't really matter. If I can get the tower to sack the explorer, then we're doing it. I am giving them a lot of mana too. Like they've shown that they have a bunch of basic lands in their deck, like at least 4 I saw last game. So the explorer is not free like it is in some matchups, but I should be able to shred their hand into garbage next turn. Like I get to thought seize them, then Cabal Therapy, then flashback Cabal Therapy. I guess they could stifle my explorer trigger. That would be kind of brutal. Oh wow, just going for the fatal push. Get it. If they stifle this, that oh nope, they're searching. Okay. So they just wanted the ramp and they wanted it on their terms. So I want a forest and a swamp. That'll get the party started on my turn. Even if they do have wasteland here, I can still just do all my discard stuff and basically play the same turn that I described. All right, let's get to work here. So I'll play out my tower just in case they have like Spell Pierce, Flusterstorm kind of stuff. Show me your secrets. It's probably 4 Brazen Borrowers, and I'm just going to die to them. Actually, 4 Brazen Borrowers would be great because I have Cabal Therapy in my hand. All right, 1 Brazen Borrower. Surgical Extraction, Extirpate. Wow, all of those. I guess I have to take Extraction first. Because that messes up. Does that mess up anything? No, I think I can leave them with Extraction for now. I'll take... I guess I'm going to take 3 of these cards. I guess it depends on, do I want to leave them with Baleful Strix or with Extirpate in hand? I think they can keep Extirpate. That's fine. I'll take the thing that lets them interact right now. What the fuck did I just do? I just sacked that. Oh, that's what happened. I lost track of what this Cabal Therapy was supposed to be doing, and I just fucked this whole game up. Okay, fine. So how to salvage this? I'll get a white and a black. Then I'll take their Brainstorm with Cabal Therapy. I guess they can cast Brainstorm in response. Ooh, they didn't do it. They had already F6'd. That was a mistake. They did not account for the extra mana they were going to get. But I also fucked up, so we're fine. Everything's equal. So Extirpate, Baleful Strix are the cards they have. Kind of hoping they just snap off Extirpate on that Cabal Therapy, but they need it to stop Rectors. I can't believe how hard I botched that turn. Yeah, somehow I just thought I was going to have black mana and Veteran Explorer still in play. Whoops. So if they tap out of black mana, then they don't have Extirpate up anymore. If I draw like any creature, it forces the issue. Like if I put almost any creature on the stack, they have to Extirpate Cabal Therapy, or else I just therapy them, naming Extirpate. Oh, this is weird. There's the Forager. Oh, it gets the extraction back. Oh my god. I can never beat that. I need a combo right now. Lethal Vapors off the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have the mana. Lethal Vapors off the top. Damn it. Alright. Cabal Therapy is not bad though. That at least I can work around. I guess if they extirpate my Cabal Therapy, then I can't work around it anymore. So I should therapy naming extirpate. Unless they just extirpate therapy in response. Extirpate and stifle. Okay, stifle doesn't actually stop me. But okay, yeah, there's no force of will underneath these things, so that's a start. So I think Forager will get back Surgical Extraction to play around Rector, which sucks because that's exactly what I don't want them to do. But I think it's the right play. I'd be kind of stoked if they get like Ponder instead. Yeah, they put the extraction in hand. Alright, baby. Lethal Vapors off the top. They're all 4 are still in the deck. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7, 8. Vapors, let's go. That's not it. Ooh, are they giving me a redraw? Oh, they're surgical extracting Cabal Therapy in my draw step. That's fine. Well, they don't even care. Like, if I had drawn Rector there, I would have won because they spewed off their surgical. So now, like, how do I actually win this game? I think I have to Veil of Summer right now, draw a card, and hope that it is Lethal Vapors or Academy Rector. It was neither of those cards. Okay. Alright, I guess I have to Teferi's Protection in the upkeep. And now I lose for sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that sucks. They can force this and just kill me, but even if they don't force it, even if I draw Rector off the top, they can stifle a Rector trigger. I guess that means what I said last turn didn't matter. So if I had drawn Lethal Vapors off the Veil of Summer, I would have won. Close calls. All right, let's salvage this this 2-3. Win more than one match with this awesome deck. Go, go, go. On the play for the final round. This hand doesn't have enough mana to do what we need it to. This hand is more fair than I want, but I mean, it plays. I'll send Pernicious Deed to the bottom, and I'm just going to play a land and pass until I know what they might be up to. Like, I'm not going to blind therapy naming Brainstorm, and they just turn out to be Death and Taxes. See? So Windswept Heath. What deck goes Windswept Heath go? I could just wish for Rector right now and start setting up for later. I think that makes sense. Like, I still don't know what they're doing over there. Like, I can get more information about their deck for a better therapy on turn 3, and then I can Rector plus Flashback immediately on turn 4. Alright, grabbed a Rector. Or set up. See where this goes. Hopefully the Windswept Heath deck is the one that we can assemble the combo against without their pesky interactive spells. Meh. Oh no, I've been fooled. They are a blue deck all along. Oh, they're poison. That's fun. Alright, so I'm gonna Cabal Therapy naming Invigorate. Invigorate. They had one. So now they have a second Blighted Ancient, Noble Hierarch, Berserk, and Forest. Alright, unfortunately this Pernicious Seed's going to be a little too small. I'm going to fetch right now for planes because this deck has been known to play a Stifle or two. Not that that particularly matters, because if they have Stifle, they get to Stifle Rector instead, which is just so much worse. But they are incentivized to empty their hand here because they know I'm going to therapy them again next turn. Alright, Noble Hierarch. So I'll therapy naming Berserk, and I probably have to search for Sylvan Library. I already have the Vapors. Yeah, if I can just like hit land Deed for 2, I think I win this game. Yeah, I think Library finding the second land is better than just getting the Deed. My opponent's probably pretty surprised that that's what I got, instead of something that actually just ends the game, because I don't have anything like that in my deck. That's not how you spell Berserk. Berserk. Alright, so their hand is Forest, Misty Rainforest. Here we go. Got to fade some big top decks. So they can attack for 3 poison. I just have to hope they can't come up with 5 more. Alright, here we go. Here goes everything. There's the land. Alright, pay 4, pay 4. My life total doesn't really matter in this matchup. Unfortunately, the Deed also kills my Sylvan Library, but I can't do anything about that. So they can't force, because their hand is Forest. 1, 2, 3, 4. They can't hardcast Force. Alright. I think what I'm going to do here is just hold off on the deed, because if they don't represent 5 poison in combat, I get another turn to draw with Sylvan Library. And if they do commit a pump spell, then they lose their board. If they would have had to draw pump spell and stifle in the last 2 turns to crush me here. That's fine. Nice. Yes. All right. I can put back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can put back one of these veils and pay 4 life to keep this. And then want to fetch here. I guess I need another black in case they have Wasteland. So my plan is to cast City of Solitude, then pop Deed for 2, and then it should be hard to lose. I guess they could crop rotate for Inkmoth Nexus, but they'd have to do it in response here. Okay, so now I can Deed for 2. I lose my library, but I have my 7 mana. Just don't wasteland me, and we'll get along just fine. All right, I think this brainstorm's just a little too late. I don't think they have any haste creatures or way to beat on me that I care about. All right, I think we're doing it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 is the number. I guess I could like crop rotate for Wasteland right now if they're super heads up and know what I'm doing. All right, now the coast is definitely clear. The vapors. And they can't activate the ability because it's not their turn. So hold priority, get some protection, and let's take a vacation. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 30. All right. They know what's going on. I appreciate the concession. All right, Collective Brutality, much maligned, but it is actually good here. One of the few matchups where it's actually great. All of this removal is coming in. Kasali Pride Mage can hit Inkmoth Nexus. Thoughtseize seems pretty good too. Am I supposed to just get off the combo again? Or get off, yeah, like get a little bit off the combo and get off Living Wish. Alright, I don't know that Hope of Girapur is super important. City of Solitude also costs a lot, especially if I'm pivoting into this other version. Teferi's Protection actually functioning as fog in this matchup is pretty good though. Veil of Summer, not super important here. Like they're gonna have some counter spells, but I have all this discard. And I want the discard because it actively inhibits them. Like other decks where the discard is just defensive or is just offensive, like I'm trying to strip their countermeasures then win, then I'd rather have Veil. Like I'd have the first 4 Veils before I have the first Thoughtseize. But where I need to play defense by attacking their hand, I want all the discard spells in. Uh, Maybe, I don't know, Hope being a blocker is kind of good. One of my very few ways to interact with them early, but I guess that's why I'm bringing in all this discard and removal. And Splendor and Convergence are both absolutely crushing against them. All right, let's do it. All right, no black mana, no deal. All right, this one is better. Deed is good, but I'm gonna save it for later. Like I want that in my deck to get with a Rector or something. Like having all this spot removal just changes the deal a little bit. Let's hope this is Noble Hierarch and not Glistener Elf. All right, it's Glistener Elf. Huh. Time to draw Thoughtseize, maybe? Or just Cabal Therapy? I would take either. Alright, I'll just play this land. Maybe they'll respect Fatal Push. Or maybe they just can't deal 10 on turn 2. That would be great. So my hand kind of goes off on 2 mana. They didn't play a land before combat, so their hand must be just full of juice. Like if they just have like Invigorate, Berserk, and a bunch of counter spells, then this hand's pretty good. Oh, another Invigorate. Alright, I'm not dead. Count it. Though their hand is just obviously counter spells at this point. I should not have played this land, because that plays into Stifle. I wish this was Abrupt Decay and not Assassin's Trophy, but here we are. There's nothing to bluff, so I'm just gonna commit to this. They just cast Daze or Veil of Summer, and then they win. Finds the Vastword also works. Alright. They're a much more coherent and faster combo deck than I am. That's lucky. Alright, same strategy. This time I'm on the play. Unlock all those nice interactive spells. I changed my mind. I want 2 Hope of Girapur and 1 less Lethal Vapors. Like, if I get to the point where I'm casting Rectors, I think that those games I'm gonna win however I feel like, but the games where I can block for a turn, soak up a little bit of damage, something like that's what's gonna matter a lot. So Hope of Girapur being another 1-drop. It would have saved me 5 poison that last round. On the play, yep. We get to do the whole Nick Fit thing here. I'm gonna fetch basic forest. Because I'm gonna have all my colors anyway next turn when I pop this Explorer. And no reason to play into Wasteland. In fact, plays between like 0 and 2 Wastelands usually, but I'm not gonna play into it if I don't have to. I'd also like to not get stifled. That would be great. Yeah, if they just like play Glistener Elf here, I'm gonna feel pretty good. So I can pop off my shit and decay the elf. Noble Hierarch's a little worse. But it makes me feel better about popping Veteran Explorer because they are ramping their mana anyway. I could also just not pop Veteran Explorer. I guess it depends on what I draw. That's pretty cool. Right, I'm just gonna attack with Veteran Explorer, actually. Like, they didn't present a threat. I don't want to ramp their mana when I'm not doing anything. Like, what am I gonna do? Abrupt Decay their Noble Hierarch and give them 2 basic lands to in the meantime? They might not have 2. They might just have 1 forest, but it's possible that they have 2. All right, this one is worth killing. So what's the best way to sequence this? I think end step, I just tower one of these explorers. I'm going to lead on the trophy because that's the one that is easier to interact with. And if they have Vines of Vastwood, I want them to commit that. So I want green and white. And let's see how many basics. Oh, they only have 1 and it's in their hand. That's fucked up. I should have Abrupt Decayed with that information. But if I can bait a Force of Will when I have Abrupt Decay still waiting, like that's fine too. The second tower. All right, I'll name human. Just get another attack in there. I'm so close to comboing right now, it's crazy. I'm still not going to Abrupt Decay this Noble Hierarch, even though they were unable to search for lands, because that's just not what matters in this matchup. I've seen Nick Fit decks before that have Wasteland in them, which just seems like the most preposterous idea. Like, you just have a creature that gives your opponent tons of basic lands, and then you have Wasteland to, like, haha, instead of being at 4 mana, you're only at 3 on turn 2. Gotcha. Oh, weird. They must have a super defensive hand. So this cavern is probably just the cat's ass. Though I guess they could still have stifles. I'm fine just piling up protection though. Though I guess if they had crop rotated for Inkmoth Nexus there, I could be in trouble. Yet none of this interacts with Inkmoth Nexus. Where did their basic forest go? Did they just choose not to use it? I'm gonna trophy. Oh no, I can trophy Inkmoth Nexus. Okay. For some reason I thought trophy didn't kill this, but it obviously just does. Okay, so I'm gonna end step, pop my Veteran Explorer. And then I'll get some more permanent black mana. Unless they stifle me, which I'm fine with. Yes, I think I'm just getting black with this. Black. Gonna trophy. That. They don't have enough mana to animate it and Vines of Vastwood it, so they do have to. Okay, that also works. They can just turn it into another one. That's pretty good. Alright, so we still have Teferi's protection, but I need to draw a Rector right now. Uh-oh. In trouble. This hand started out so good, but it's fallen apart. Like, Teferi's Protection can absorb a juicy poison hit. Like, if they go all in, I can absorb a lot of the poison, but if they have Force of Will, that doesn't matter. Scale up. Alright, I mean, don't have Force of Will, please. Alright, we're hiding. Because it's technically better to let them attack, so it's tapped. Like, they could second maid and go, like, land Blighted Agent here. Rector. Yeah. There it is. And I'm going to get Sandworm Convergence here. Teferi's Protection as Richard Garfield intended. They don't have mana up for Stifle, even if that's a card that they have. And I think Convergence is better than Splendor. Alright, there it is. So, Protection time. 5/5's on the ground. Inkmoth Nexus can't attack. Alright, I think they're thinking if they can win this game anymore. I'm not sure what this pause is about. They were just, I think what they were asking is if they could have won through Teferi's Protection, but it says your life total can't change and you gain protection from everything. So in fact doesn't care about your life total, but protection from everything is pretty good. Unless they meant they could have countered it. Oh no. No, they were just making sure that Infect doesn't work through it. And now the worms are converging. So they can still win this game if they play Blighted Agent this turn and can make 10 poison next turn. Like, I can block the shit out of Glistener Elf. Inkmoth Nexus can't attack, but Blighted Agent can still win this game. It has to be this turn, though, because then my worms will be lethal, and they have to chump block. But they can take 10 and still be alive. Oh, it's tight. It's so tight. Oh, do they have Teferi in their deck? Teferi could bounce Sandworm Convergence, but I can just cast it at this point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we're there. Teferi could bounce a worm, and that would give them another... Oh, that seems like it was an error? What just happened? Oh no, they were just messing around. I don't know. I don't know what just happened, but they were in a tough spot regardless. Alright, we managed to put up a 2-3 with Lethal Vapors and Teferi's Protection. We even actually executed the combo more than once, and we won 2 matches. Like, I would consider that a win. So, big lessons learned. I don't think we need Hope of Girapur at all. Like, I would just cut this card entirely from the deck. The Veil of Summer plus the Cabal Therapy Thoughtseize package just clears the way so well, plus City of Solitude's in the deck. I would bring the Overwhelming Splendor and the Sandworm Convergence into the main. Also, Living Wish was bad the whole time, so I would just play the Rectors in the deck, just cut the whole Living Wish package, and play Cavern, play Rector, and hope it... Alright, let me start clicking. Actually get a picture of what this looks like. Alright, so Rector's in the deck, Splendor, Convergence are in the deck, Cavern's in the deck. Wow, that's all that's as far as I really thought of all this. So we also decided that Thoughtseize probably isn't worth the spot in the sideboard. Or no, we definitely didn't want Collective Brutality. So Collective Brutality wasn't good, Thoughtseize wasn't good. I just add another one to the main deck. That's not what I wanted to do. Alright, so I'm not going to sit here and fill in these slots right now. maybe more Sylvan libraries. Just play 4 Sylvan library. Just turbo up to the combo. Oh, it's close. And then you get like 6 new sideboard slots to do whatever you want with. So I'm not going to do all that right now, but this is where I would start if I was ever going to play this again. I don't know that if I am. This was a delightful donation deck. Achija, thank you so much. This was a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed the video. I enjoyed building this deck, and I enjoyed recording the league, playing through the matches. Uh, Everyone make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Remember, if you have something crazy, I mean, this should prove that nothing's too crazy. If you want me to try your crazy idea, uh, check out my contact info in the description below. I'll play donation deck lists and love to hear from you. So see you next time. Like, comment, subscribe. Adios.